You do more good than you. It's my favorite show. You do more good than you know. You do more good than you know. The David Packman Show. It's my favorite show. The David Packman Show. The David Packman Show. Nobody that's a leader would not do what I did. And I know there's a risk, there's a danger, but that's okay. I just left Walter Reed Medical Center. And I learned so much in coronavirus. Don't be afraid of it. You're gonna beat it. We have the best medical equipment. Don't be afraid of it. Felt great, like better than I have in a long time. Don't be afraid of it. I didn't feel so good. Don't be afraid of it. You're gonna beat it. We have the coronavirus. Don't be afraid of it. And now I'm better, and maybe I'm immune. I don't know. Be afraid of it. Don't let it dominate. Don't let it take over your lives. Be afraid of it. Don't let that happen. We're the greatest country in the world. Be afraid of it. As your leader, I had to do that. I knew there's danger to it, but I had to do it. But don't let it dominate your lives. Get out there. Be careful. We have the best medicines in the world, and it all happened very shortly, and they're all getting approved, and the vaccines are coming momentarily. Today, I'm pleased to make a truly historic announcement in our battle against the China virus that will save countless lives. Convalescent, strong antibodies from the blood of recovered patients to help treat patients battling a current infection. Convalescent, this is the only possible, and it's only made possible because of Operation Convalescent. Today, I'm pleased to make a truly historic announcement in our battle against the China virus that will save countless lives. We provided $48 million to fund the Mayo Clinic study that tested the efficacy of convalescent the virus. convalescent plasma. This is the only possible, and it's only made possible because of Operation Convalescent Plasma.
All right, welcome everybody. We find ourselves here once again. It is a Friday night, and we are into the last, about 17 days until the presidential election between Donald Trump and Joseph R. Biden Jr. We are waiting in Macon, Georgia. Donald Trump taking off from Florida a little bit late from his last rally, but it's only reportedly a 40-minute flight, so we're monitoring 4 different streams for Trump's arrival scheduled for 20 minutes from now. I actually think it may start not that much after 7:15 because even though Trump was running late, it is a short flight. But Trump was scheduled to, I guess, just sort of sit in the plane for a half hour, or the way it was originally scheduled. Sort of weird. But needless to say, we are all here. Now, I have so many announcements to make and different things that are going on. First and foremost, yes, I will carry the second presidential debate on Thursday night live. And I have a few things to say in a moment about some of the high marks we've been getting. And I'll explain what that means in a little bit. But yeah, we plan to do it. We've been given clearance by Clarence. And we're ready to go. So that will be Thursday. There's a bunch of rallies between now and then. And my sense is that the streams will get pretty frequent over the next very short period of time because we don't have that much longer until the election. And then I think that my channel will probably die after the election, as many Hatriots email me every day to tell me. So there'll be plenty of streams. Different things to go over. C via Super Chat says, I've heard you mention Thomas Sowell a few times. Will you ever do a video about him refuting him? Would be cool if you could get him on the show. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll look into that. A couple different things I want to mention. Number one, coronavirus is back. I don't know how many of you remember that there is still a pandemic going on, and we now are once again regularly in the United States, 65,000 cases, back up to nearly 1,000 deaths a day again. And you will see if you look at the cases and the moving average, we had this thing that happened in mid-April called a peak. And then when we peaked, things turned around very slowly, and we saw a decline down to about 20,000 cases a day. And when we got down to 20,000 cases a day in early June, had we kept going, the model suggested we could really have this under control by July 1st. Everything opened. So then, as if 35,000 cases a day wasn't enough, we had a peak all the way up to 70,000 cases a day. And then again, things started closing and we started seeing the effects of all the different measures. And we got all the way back down to 35,000 cases a day. Notice that the peak number 1 was lower than the bottom after peak number 2. And then again, Republicans said, let's just go completely crazy. Let's open schools. Let's go completely bonkers. And then now we are all the way back up to 66,000 cases a day yesterday, 65,000 cases today. And we may well be on the path to 100,000 cases a day. You know, when Fauci talked about it months ago, we could see 100,000 cases a day by the fall. All these right wingers laughed. We're not going to see 100,000 cases. Well, look at the trajectory. Look at the trajectory in 1 month, nearly doubling from 35,000 a day to almost 70,000 a day. So it's completely out of control. The deaths, fortunately, have remained relatively low, like 1,000 a day. But as you can see, if you look at a 7-day moving average, it is flat. And 2 to 3 weeks after case spikes, you tend to start seeing a death spike. Now, hopefully we're better at treating it. Hopefully we understand protocol. Hopefully we it won't go as, what a weird ad, by the way, worried about fatty liver. That's what is that, an aardvark? Hopefully we won't see that, but in all likelihood, it is going to start to happen. So yes, the coronavirus pandemic, very, very much still a factor. Charlie says via Super Chat, from the standpoint of tippy-top nuclear, we're totally screwed if Trump wins re-election. Hair looking great as per usual. Vote, vote, vote. Thank you. Tomorrow, by the way, listen, typically I reserve my Instagram for produce and produce related pictures. So like if you look at my last 2 pictures on Instagram, here's a picture of me very, very strongly picking apples. I picked some, I don't know if it's Macon or Macon. My friend Nate here asking about Honeycrisp, and I said never. I mean, never, ever, ever. Why Honeycrisp is not on, it's not part of what we're doing. But picking apples. Then this is my backyard tomato bounty, which I'm ripening in a box. Tomorrow, I am going to take a break from the non-politics on Instagram because I am going to be filling out my absentee ballot and delivering it to City Hall. It will all be filmed. And by that, I mean I will post 1 picture. Okay, so if you want to see that tomorrow, you can follow me on Instagram. But yes, vote, vote, vote is indeed the message. That is indeed the message. Let me close that out. I have all these things. I actually plan. People might not know, but I actually take the streams. Like if I'm going to stream, I don't just pop on and, whatever, some other streamers might do. I have notes. I have legal pads. I have 10 tabs open because I'm taking these streams seriously. But vote, 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 and that'll be tomorrow. Okay. Nina Catel says in his rally earlier, he said Ilhan Omar is an illegal alien and she married her brother or something. Jeepers. I have a clip from the earlier rally, which I will play. Not that one. Mr. Zoo says John Kasich, Republican governor, is another Trump aborter. Yeah, I did a clip earlier about Massachusetts Republican governor Charlie Baker saying he will not be voting for Donald Trump. And I believe that is true. John Kasich is another one. Jacob Fry says you inspired me to do political cemetery. Oh, commentary, I think is what Jacob means. Get doing good, bro. Get doing good, bro. You are amazing. Stay mad. All right. Very good. And then Luke says first team will very likely have their hands full correcting the BS the terror mango caused. Greetings from Europe, Luxembourg. Good luck, guys. Luxembourg is not a place I've ever been to, but I would love to go. I would absolutely love to go. So that's all happening. Very exciting. Really appreciate it. Over on Twitch, we are back on Twitch. Liquid Ice has subscribed for 12 months. Zillus NDG has subscribed. Lillian So, Bailey Lukens, Libero, Zamilla, Insomnia Jones, Jolt, Bit, Craft, Schmevel, all these different people subscribing over on Twitch, which we love. We are back on Twitch. And then before we move on, very quickly, thanks to Eric Evans, Austin Smith, and Candace Marshall, who are new members 1, 2, and 3. Beautiful numbers, 1, 2, and 3 at joinpacman.com. Okay, remember yesterday that completely out of control nodding sycophant? I immediately identified her behind Donald Trump, and it didn't seem normal, just nodding. It was like her head was going to be, oh my God, my hair, actually, I had an error because of my head bobbing. She was clearly a sycophantic lunatic, and indeed she was. Myra Jolie identified as nodding woman at town hall. I guess it's somebody that Trump knows. There's some article I read about how she said hi to Trump or something like that. And I got a very interesting email from one of our viewers who told me about what was the, hold on, let me see the exact term. He told me the term nodding. Where was it? I want to make sure I get the term right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Nodding manipulation, said to Google it. And indeed, there is a ton of literature about nodding, raising likability and approachability. Both if you are doing a lot of nodding, you become more approachable and likable to others. If, you meet someone at a business networking event, imagine if people still did business networking. And people are talking to you about, I sell insurance. Do you need life insurance? Like these networking events that I've stopped going to because everybody's selling insurance all the time. And you go, yeah, oh, wow, whole life. Yeah, fascinating. Premium. Oh, yeah, you get a commission. Beautiful. It makes you seem more likable and approachable. But the other effect of that is if you see a politician speaking, and there's a crowd of people around them nodding about everything they say, so at a subconscious level, again, if you know to resist it, if you know to look for it, it's a defense mechanism. But if you don't, you will perceive what the politician is saying more positively if there's a crowd of people around nodding. And as far as you know, it is genuine nodding. So very interesting, and maybe even a topic to cover on Monday. Okay, so we've got that, and then we've got that. All right. Earlier today at the rally that Trump did in Florida, this is a perfect example. Okay, so Don Jr. tweeted this. Let me just see if we're missing anything. No, nothing happening yet. Don Jr. tweeted this. This is Trump is speaking. He's reading off his prompter. And he, I guess, notices a 100-year-old veteran in the crowd. And then he interrupts the rally and there's a standing ovation. Okay, let's look at it. And I have some thoughts about this. And before we do that, there's this big controversy about when we're watching these events, should I mute them or should I pause them to talk over them? One of our, I believe, European viewers wrote to me and said, David, there is a filter you can add where instead of muting, when you talk, Streamlabs OBS will turn down the audio you're listening to. So let's just test it here, okay? The idea is that I don't have to touch anything. If I want to mention something while Trump is speaking, I can just talk and my system will turn down Trump's voice. Let's test it and see if it works.
It is true. But now the Democrats are
testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Ever put forward by a president.
It did lower it about half. I don't know if for you guys it's the right amount of reduction. I can tweak that. If you guys think, people think that it worked. Wow. I'll leave it then. I won't touch it. Okay, good. All right, excellent. So let's continue. So we'll have that. I think that'll be a great tool for future streams. Let's listen.
Presidential nominee. You know, it's an amazing thing. This is the weakest presidential. Oh. Go ahead, say it. Go ahead. 100-year-old veteran right here.
Right.
Wow.
So this is the exact type of thing that is disgusting, not honoring a veteran. The use of it. The right is both disgusting with this stuff, but they also are just kind of good at it, right? You get everybody's going crazy and they forget, wait a second, what's Trump's healthcare policy? How many tens of millions of people lose healthcare if Trump gets his way? Wait a second. How many times has Trump, and people around him violated the Hatch Act? It's irrelevant to policy, but Republicans are good at this stuff. And it is just a perfect example. Then Donald Trump Jr. signal boosts it. And they know how to do this stuff and they do it all the time. And unfortunately, it seems to work at least to some degree. OK, we are standing by for Donald Trump in Macon. Is it Macon or Macon, Georgia, as some say? Anybody know? I think it's Macon. The apples are Macon, right? Macon. Okay. Macon. People are telling me it's Macon. Macon. Okay. Very good. So this one says it's been delayed. This one says it hasn't. This one is, let's see what Joe Biden is saying.
This election remind me of something my dad used to say. He said, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about your place in your community. It's be able to look your child in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it. Well, that's a lesson I've never forgotten. That's what I grew up surrounded by, hard-working families in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Claymont, Delaware. How many people today, though, can look their kids in the eye and say, everything's going to be all right, and mean it? These times are hard. Unemployment is way up due to the pandemic. Just this week, over 1,200,000 more people file for unemployment. The economic outlook for next year remains uncertain. And across Michigan and the country, folks are worried about making their next rent payment or their mortgage payment or their car payment. They're worried whether or not they can purchase the prescription drug they need or put food on the table, have to make a choice. Worried about sending their kids to school, worried about not sending their kids to school.
Right.
They see the people at the top doing a hell of a lot better, while the rest of them are left to wonder, who's looking out for me? That's Donald Trump's presidency. More than 215 South. I think it's
So very, very interesting. Yesterday, as you guys all know, there were dueling town halls last night, and Joe Biden had better ratings than Donald Trump. And I don't know for sure that I don't know for sure that there was anything Trump has said publicly about it, but I can't imagine Trump likes that, because Trump is all about ratings, as all of you very, very much know. Okay, I want to communicate a concern, and the concern is about voter registration. I actually don't think it's clear that you are going to see the major easy victory for Joe Biden that some are predicting. And I'm really looking at two things. There are some new polls, like, for example, if we look at the latest polls from today, there is a Hill-Harris-X poll which has Florida tied. There is a Florida poll that has Biden +3. Pennsylvania, after being up more, it's Biden +5. Okay, Michigan, Biden +11 is very powerful. Trump +1, that's a Republican poll. North Carolina is now tied. If North Carolina is tied going in, I think Trump wins it. And combine this with voter registration data, where new Republican registrations in a number of these key states, I don't remember exactly, I'm going to look at them for Monday's show, but in some key states, Republican voter registration has been outpacing Democratic voter registration. We know that. That's public data. That's not a poll. That's actual data. So, I mean, listen, anybody who's super confident about what's going to happen November 3rd. When is the election? The 3rd, right? Yeah. November 3rd. I want to hear your confidence. Now, there are people who will say, the difference, David, is, for example, Biden's only +5, but he has 51. Hillary was not at 50 in a lot of these places. Okay, well, look at Biden in Florida is 48 and 48. Biden in North Carolina is 49. When I see the challenger not at 50 against an incumbent president, it doesn't make me particularly confident. And I know every time I talk about this, people will email me. They'll say, oh, David, you're gaslighting. You're making people think it's going to be close so that they'll vote. Wow, how evil. I'm trying to get people to vote. But I'm not exaggerating my concern about the numbers. It's just the way I see it. And I think that anybody, if you're expecting Joe Biden to win the popular vote by 9 or 10, I mean, I'm not a betting man, but I think I would take that bet. I would bet against that. I'm being notified that we have a lot of people in the chat that need to be banned. Who's trolling? Let's see. It looks like we do need to ban some people. We need to ban everybody. Well, we're not going to do that, but yeah, if people are getting aggressive, let me know. We will drop the ban hammer very strongly. Moderators, please take notice, because it does. We don't want that stuff going on there. Big thank you to Sarah Hines, who is new member number 4 today at joinpacman.com. Very much appreciate that. Let's get to some additional super chats that are coming in. I don't want to fall behind there. A lot of messages coming in from people. Let's see here. Oh, whoops, I missed a bunch of them. Hold on here. Okay, Ford says 2.5 weeks away, both excited and nervous. Of course. Eric says North Carolina voting report waited about 3 hours, but was not required to crawl over broken glass. That's good. I mean, I would be willing to crawl over broken glass to vote, but I would prefer not to. So I'm glad you didn't need to. Walker Anderson says, are you going to condemn the Democrats for filibustering COVID relief, or does only lefty news make the cut? If you look at my commentary on that issue, there is no shortage of criticism for both sides. But when you look at, Trump and Republicans can't even get on the same page. So ultimately, what does it matter when Mitch McConnell says we are not doing more relief, does it really matter if Nancy Pelosi would accept 1.9 but not 1.8? Right? Let's think critically here, my friends. Nicholas says Farron Cousins on Ring of Fire today said David Parkman is more entitled to a Nobel Prize than Donald J. Trump. I saw that. In fact, we could look at that real quick if you guys want to. Let's see. Nobel. I got an email about this from the standpoint of medical. That's not what I'm looking for. Where was Nobel? Here it is. Okay, good. Yeah, let's check this out. This is our good friend Farron Cousins. Let's listen to what he had to say. He made a beautiful point, in fact. Let's take a look at it. I think it was about the 3-minute mark.
They do tend to get nominated because literally anyone on the planet can be nominated for it. You know, you didn't win anything special by being nominated. I'm pretty sure that, you know, a YouTuber who's far more popular than me, like David Pakman, for example, could probably get more votes for Nobel Peace Prize than you. And he would certainly be more deserving of it than Donald Trump is. And of course, he had to throw in the digs at Obama because the Republicans loved to.
All right, so very nice. Glad to see a very strong statement there from Farron. Always good to see. Thank you to Fab I Am and Keels Who for the Twitch subs. Robot Laser Party subscribed and sent me the message. Guess who voted today? This guy. That is great news. Also, thanks to Chaotic Stasis for the Twitch Prime sub. Brian Coldy is here. Brian Coldy, my brother-in-law by domestic partnership twice removed. I got the wife to finally watch the show. That is a huge accomplishment. Major news. Oh, and it's actually, it's Coldy's, I believe it's Coldy's sister's birthday today. Very exciting day in the Coldy family. A lot of accomplishments there. C asks whether I vote blue all the way down the ballot or do I vote for Charlie Baker for governor. Charlie Baker's not on the ballot. Double DD Beat says, hey, David, if you haven't, you should watch Winston Peters, the New Zealand VPM answering a COVID denier. It shows how America is viewed by other countries. If somebody can get me a video of that, I would be interested in checking that out. Naba says, hello, David, from your friend from Pakistan. I have chicken to trade. No, guys, that's not, I don't like that. We have real callers from Pakistan, actually. Speaking of which, Pedro from Colombia called in again, and it is wild. Let me see if I can find it here, because it is something else. This is not published yet, unless you're a member. If you're a member, then this is already published. But if you're not, I'm going to preview this for you guys. We have not heard from him for a while. Let me just see what's happening here. Okay, nothing so far. Okay, so let's take a look here. I think you guys will enjoy this. This is pretty interesting. Oh my God, I can't even see my own videos. Hold on a second. All right, let me just, let me get signed in here. Just so everybody can see this. All right. And we are almost back.
News Voice is the world's
Okay, well, hold on. All right, we're going to skip my own ad. Check this out. This is something else. This was a great call, actually. We hadn't heard from him. This was by Discord, so you can hear him really well, too. .com/Discord. That is DISCORD. Let me bring on our friend. This is an global exclusive. Pedro from Colombia. Pedro, ¿cómo estás hoy?
Hola, Mr. Pacman. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Hola, Mr. Pacman. It's been a long time, you know. I got the corona a few months ago, and then it was kind of sad. And then my wife, she left me for a little bit, but
¿Cuál fue la fecha de contagio, Pedro?
Oh, era en julio. Era en julio.
So he actually does understand Spanish. I asked him what his contagion date was, and he said it was in July. You do speak some. You actually do speak some Spanish. It sounds like.
Oh yeah, Mr. Pacman. I speak Spanish, but I try to speak English too.
Okay.
You know.
And what were your symptoms? ¿Cuáles eran tus síntomas?
Oh, you know, my head hurt, you know. I was like, oh no, I can't get up today, you know.
¿Cuánta fiebre, Pedro?
Oh, I don't know, it was like 100 or something, you know.
Okay.
I didn't like it, but you know, I feel better now, and you know, my wife, she was gone, so she didn't get sick. It was just me and Pedrito, you know.
Now, when you say your wife left you, she left you just temporarily while you had the COVID, or you're no longer with her?
Oh, she was like, and she just got mad at me, and you know,
But
fought me.
I'm trying to understand, she was mad you had the virus, or she was mad about something else?
Oh, she gets mad at me for a lot of things. That was one reason she got mad at me.
Right.
So
And remind me, where in Ecuador are you from?
No, I'm from Colombia.
Oh, from
back
Colombia.
when,
Okay, very good.
Yeah, but I'm in Texas, and I'm looking forward to Biden winning Texas. My question for you is, do you think Biden has a chance in Texas?
Listen, I think he has a chance, and Joe Biden recently made the decision to start spending a bunch more money in Texas. He's also sending Kamala Harris down there. So I think it's close enough that Biden has determined it's worth making a play for it. If you say bet money, David, just even money, who wins Texas? I still think Trump wins Texas, but forcing Trump to have to defend it is a great thing.
Oh yes, you know, I hope Biden wins. I hope Kamala Harris wins. She's kind of cute, you know.
Right.
But you know, I appreciate talking to you, Mr. Pacman. I love your Discord, and there's some very nice people there.
All right, Pedro and you're from El Capital, right? You told us?
No, Mr. Pacman, I just had a headache that day. I didn't remember where I'm from.
Where are you from in Colombia?
I have a headache now, and I don't remember where I'm from, you know. But, you know.
Was it Guadalajara? Where was it? Yeah. You'll tell me next time. Okay. All right, guys. So there it is, a global exclusive premiere. That is the latest Pedro from Colombia call. And where that guy is actually from, we literally may never know. It's a mystery like the Bermuda Triangle, quite frankly. Okay, Mile High Hustle says, what happens between Election Day and Inauguration Day if Trump loses? Nice apples, by the way. I have no idea. That's one of my other things I wanted to mention. So I need you guys to just be very, very real with me and tell me whether I'm being naive, okay? People are already saying I haven't given you the premise yet. Let me give you the premise first before you tell me that I'm being naive. So a lot of our broadcast partners, you know, Free Speech TV, YouTube, all these different people, they want to have calls with me, which is great. I love having calls all the time. But they want to talk about what they're expecting to be a crisis situation during the transition period. So a lot of these folks have gotten it into their heads that between Election Day and Inauguration Day, it's going to be completely insane. They're talking about, do I need reporters on the ground where there are going to be legal challenges? Do I need this? Do I need, you know, what do we need to do? I actually think there's a realistic possibility that either Trump just gets reelected or Biden wins by, you know, a relatively healthy margin, not a 10-point thing, a 10-point victory. And it's not going to be that crazy. Like, am I the naive one here who thinks it's possible things will get crazy, but things might also not get crazy? Like, everyone's going completely nuts. Nobody knows? Okay. I am naive. Okay. Very good. Excellent. It might be fine. Things will not get crazy. Everything's going to be fine. I'm Navi. No, I'm asking whether I'm naive, not Navi. Okay. All right. So we do have live video now from this Trump event. Joe Biden saying bye with his mask. Oh, the audio's been cut.
And that was Joe Biden there in Michigan as we continue to bring you coverage here of Joe doing Democracy 2020 campaign style there in the battleground.
All right, very good. So now we are waiting for Trump. Let's see if we have audio. Oh, my God. Okay. So, all right. Anyway, we'll see. We're going to be prepared for any eventuality, of course, after the election. But I think there's a chance it doesn't get that crazy. Okay, we have a COVID crowd in Macon, Georgia, where we are expecting Donald Trump absolutely any minute. I want to say thank you to Cedric Bogardus for the joinpacman.com subscription. You are new member number 5. Michael Lilla is new member number 6. Daniel Galpin is number 7. Kieran Pace is number 8. And Rebecca Gutierrez is new member number 9 at joinpacman.com. head on over, grab a membership. Let's see what else is on folks' minds via YouTube Super Chat. Matt Humphrey says, have you ever interacted with Howie Carr in any way? No. I can't imagine two more polar opposite individuals. I have never interacted with Howie Carr. Christopher Scott says, Deepak dropping the amazing beats. Amazing. Zachary Etzioni says, quickest pro-Israel argument. I don't even know what that means. Do you mean the quickest argument for why Israel should exist as a country? That's like a crazy, it seems insane to even debate that. If you can tell me more of what you mean. If you're just saying, what is the explanation for why Israel gets to exist? It would be, I guess countries are created in three ways. Acquiring territory through war, a purchase, or international treaty. Those are the three ways any country is created. And Israel was created one of those three ways, just like every other country. But I guess I'm not sure I know what you mean. Taylor Clark says, imagine a lunatic Biden fanatic like some of these Trumpers flying Biden fight for the soul of the nation flags and screaming about ice cream. Yeah, if Biden supporters did the things Trump sycophants do, my guess is police end up at their houses, to be perfectly frank. Chase Axelson says, just voted for the first time yesterday, down ballot Dem. Don't forget to look at the back. Sometimes there are additional races to vote in. Yes, very often there are. Or questions. Binding or non-binding. Tom Denny with a brutal $50 super chat, the largest of the evening, says Trump's rally was next door to my house today in Ocala, Florida. It's even worse in person. I can only imagine. Jake says, did I see the Cleveland, Ohio printing company that makes ballots that are being delayed? They fly a Trump flag in the photo used in the New York Times. I did not see that. I will look at it between now and Monday. Jorah Monathan, where was that? Jorah Monathan says, hey, the masks you sponsor with vents aren't accepted on flights now. What are your thoughts? Incorrect. Our mask. Oh, by the way, we have so many sponsors renewing everything. They're like, we have a crazy situation where we are, I don't want to speak out of turn for our business development chief, Noah Ferguson. What are these guys doing, by the way? What are these two guys doing? Are they, is it a mic test or they're putting Trump's speech up, I guess? Okay. We essentially are full for advertisers. Can you, through the end of the year, like if someone came to us right now and said, I want to buy 20 spots or something like that, we would have to say, we need to talk to our existing advertisers and see if anybody's willing to, maybe we're full, okay? Because things are going crazy, including our mask sponsor. Our mask sponsor, Sussman & Hahn, offers a vented mask. It is not the kind that is not accepted on flights. It is a filter vented mask, and those are okay by the CDC. The vent is something related to the air. But it's not one. You have a full filter inside of the mask that's replaceable. In addition to the vent, we looked at it very strongly with them, and everything's cool. Richard says, UK viewer, been watching for a while, love the show. Thank you. Jamie says, I live in upstate New York and the voting lines are foreign to me. I've never had to wait more than 5 minutes to vote. Listen, even voting in Boston, I've never had to wait more than 5 minutes to vote. But this is the whole point, that you have two completely different circumstances. Phil says, David, why don't you have GoPro Premium so you don't have ads? GoPro? What the hell does that mean? GoPro Premium? I don't have a GoPro. I don't even know what that means. Don says early voting. Maybe I'm being naive or Navi. I don't know. Don says early voting done today in North Carolina for blue, but in the small town of Franklin, North Carolina, is more red than blue. All right. Thank you for letting me know. Looks like we have sort of a pool shot here. We'll stick with it. Love and Music says, did you see someone put official Republican ballot box on garbage cans in California? Yes, I did. Absolutely vile. Arnold Schwarzenegger actually said today, California Republicans have lost their minds or something like that. Very, very funny to see him turn on them. Core says, true story. I filled out my ballot, put it in my purse yesterday. This morning, it's gone. I'm so upset. I didn't leave my house after work. What the hell? Yeah, I would talk to, maybe your dog ate it. I don't know. Septic Avenger says, just voted for Biden. Do you think he's going to do anything different regarding foreign policy, specifically the so-called forever wars we are still in? Yeah, I think Biden is going to have a completely reasonable foreign policy. Remember, on drones, Barack Obama was a disaster, but Barack Obama didn't start those conflicts. I guess what I would say to people who think Biden's going to be a neocon on foreign policy, who do you think he's going to start a war with? And I'm not asking rhetorically. Nicholas wants to primary Chuck Schumer in 22 as a New Yorker with F-test view. You think I would have a chance? Oh, boy. Cameron says Canada hopes for Biden. We do, too. Adam says, where can I download the Trump coronavirus remix songs you play at the beginning of your show? Okay, if you go to Google and you type Joe Woodward SoundCloud, the first result is the SoundCloud with all of the songs. All right. Very exciting stuff. Brian Holiday says, what's the point of Republicans trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act? You know, I'm starting to think that Republicans are treating the Affordable Care Act almost like Roe v. Wade, where the promise of getting rid of it gets people more activated and raises more money than if they actually were to get rid of it. I think if they were to get rid of the Affordable Care Act now, it would be a disaster. Complete and total disaster. Thanks to Silky Girl for both subscribing on Twitch and gifting a subscription. Very much appreciate that. Also want to say thanks to, I guess nobody else. I guess that's it. All right. Double DD Beat says, I sended you the Winston video on Facebook Messenger. Couldn't afford the link, the link here. Okay. It's tough to pull that up right now, but okay, I can always do it on the next stream. Joseph Vanskoy says, given that the House has already passed a bill to admit D.C. as the 51st state, do you think it'll happen if we win the Senate? It would all but guarantee 2 more Democratic Senate seats. I'm 50-50. If you say, so as a precondition, if Biden wins and Democrats take the Senate, I think Puerto Rico becoming a state is 50-50. And I believe Puerto Rico will be voting on that soon. But I could be wrong on that. Let's see what else we've got here. Matt Bell says, where is Matt Bell? Presumably, Pedro will be a standalone video. See? Yes, it will. Pedro video publishing over the weekend. Sam Weaver says, David, how quickly will Trump start threatening to make out with everyone in the audience tonight? Very soon. Very, very soon. It looks like Trump is about to land. William says, having witnessed Democratic infighting during the primaries, can independents and non-Biden Democrats really be relied upon to win this election? No particular group can ever be relied upon to win anything, but I believe the vast majority will vote Biden. Unknown Prodigy says, how many hours do you work a week? Over 50? You know, I don't think so. But so before the election, when I was tracking how many hours I was working a week, I was involved in a lot of different time management things and different things. It was frequent that I was right around 40 hours, some weeks 38, some 42. I mean, I think now it's a little more because of what's going on, but, no, it's everything's good. Per Tiran coming in with an extremely powerful 1,000 Swedish kroner super chat, which now is by far the biggest super chat of the evening, saying, I think that the Trump militia will go nuts, but handled by the governors and hopefully not military. Love from Sweden. Per, you may be right. You may be right. Donald Trump looks like he is arriving. Remember, I do have the option for you to grab a membership on my website, joinpacman.com. This is the #1 funding source for our show. So if you like what I do, if you appreciate the streams and want to continue seeing them and supporting, grab a membership at joinpacman.com. It is cheap, it is easy, and it feels great. And we have a really modest goal of just 25. As you can see, we're only at 9 out of 25. Every time somebody signs up, this blue bar fills up. And yesterday during the stream, it exploded off the screen. I think we got to about 130 or something like that, which was wild. And by the way, if you want it to be dirt cheap, use the coupon code 2020 now. That'll save you an additional 66%, which is just incredible. We are seeing Donald Trump arrive here. Let's make sure we are fully in high definition. Always want the best for you guys. High definition is here. Let's see if there's an audio track. Okay, yeah, there is, and it's not good. So we're going to keep it here. I will be thanking people from the standpoint of memberships until Trump starts. There's Mark Meadows, as you can see right over here behind Donald Trump. Horrible guy. I mean, really just a bad person. Somebody who we would benefit from removing from government altogether permanently. A few other super chats. Oliver Wilde says, any upcoming notable interviews you would like to promote? So I interviewed Congresswoman Debbie McCarcel-Powell. That will be airing soon. Also, Eric Garcetti, who is being considered for a possible Biden cabinet or other position, the mayor of L.A. He will be on this week. He will be on my Spanish show. We will be interviewing him in Spanish. Eric Garcetti, much like me, is a Jewish Latino. And then I will have Eric Garcetti in English for the English show, which I think is going to be great. And then we have a few other notable interviews, but there's one that's really big, really big. And in fact, I want to follow up about it. I'm going to follow up about it when Trump starts speaking because it's so big and I was supposed to get an update. In fact, let me get an update. Hey, Ryan, this doesn't give it away. Hey, Ryan, any update on this? Would love to make the interview happen. This would be big. Arguably the biggest interview ever, I would say. But that will be, I'll have information for you guys next week on that, if indeed it happens. All right, we are almost ready for Donald Trump's Corona rally. Let's see what's happening. Okay, it's still happening. A couple other super chats. Oscar says, a question about southern border camps. How are they affected by COVID? Now and later, a hopefully Biden presidency. Well, hopefully Biden will shut them down, and they are very, very affected by COVID, sadly. I wish they weren't, but they are. 95 says conservative belief system is based on revenge and punishment. Yeah, it's called strict father morality. All right, let's get into it here. Brace yourselves, guys.
I love Georgia. I love being with you. This is Georgia. This is Macon, Georgia.
Georgia.
We won Macon, Georgia. We're going to win it again. It's great to be back in the heart of this incredible state with the thousands of loyal, hardworking, unbelievable American patriots.
How is he so sweaty already?
And 18 days from now, we're going to win the state of Georgia. We're going to win 4 more years. Isn't that beautiful and incredible in so many ways? That beautiful White House, right? And just remember, early voting is underway. Get out and vote. Go out and vote.
All right.
We're running against perhaps the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics. Did you watch last night? I mean, give me a break. But actually, I wish he was a good candidate because it actually puts more pressure on you running against a guy like this. Sleepy Joe Biden is the living embodiment of the corrupt political class that enriched itself while draining the economic life and soul from our country. You know what's happened? You know very well in Georgia what happened. For the last 47 years, Joe Biden shipped away your jobs, shut down your factories, threw open your borders, and ravaged our cities while sacrificing American blood and treasure in endless and ridiculous foreign wars. In places you've never even heard of before.
One of the really interesting things to watch during Trump rallies is as the masks start coming down in the background.
Globalists and special interests who got rich bleeding America dry. And by the way, I could call these guys, every one of them would give me millions. I'm president. I called heads of Wall Street firms. I'd say, hey, do me a favor. Could you give me $5 million? Every single one. I can't do that, though, because you know what? If I do that, I got to do things for them, and I want to do what's right. I could raise more money. I could raise more money. I'd be the world's greatest fundraiser, but I just don't want to do it because then they call you and you sort of say, hey, you know, they treated me good. I got to treat them good. I know you don't think that's the way the system works, but that's the way the system, I guess, works, unfortunately. But it doesn't work that way for me. In 2016, you voted to fire this corrupt and decrepit political establishment, and you elected an outsider as president to finally put America first. And we've learned over the last couple of months, Joe Biden is a corrupt politician. He's a corrupt politician. And the Biden family is a criminal enterprise. Frankly, it makes crooked Hillary Clinton look like an amateur.
Clinton? Yikes.
Now, whoever saw anything like this? He goes to China, the kid is followed like a vacuum cleaner. He follows and follows and follows. And unfortunately, it sounds like he left his laptop behind, and they have thousands.
Who believes that?
Here's a guy, didn't have a job, but now he's taking in millions, and plenty of it goes to Joe Biden, too. Don't kid yourself.
That's an assertion without any evidence.
You see the one today? The guy gets 10%. 10%. I wonder who the guy is. This was not a good, between Anthony Weiner's laptop and this laptop, these are two beauties. I think this one could be worse than the Weiner laptop. Yet this massive scandal is being covered up by the media and big tech, right? All those people. Look at them.
This is deeply authoritarian.
So here we have, think of it. Here we have the biggest scandal going on anywhere in the world, the corruption of Joe Biden and the Biden family. And he's interviewed last night by Stephanopoulos on ABC, and they don't even ask him the question about it.
Based on one story in the New York Post, which is very, very weak.
How come your son got $3.5 million from Moscow, right? From Moscow. Russia, because they were the ones involved with Russia, turns out, not me. It was the opposite. But why did your son get $3.5 million from the wife of the mayor of Moscow? Think of it. Think of it. A little question like that. Remember, Chris Wallace said, oh, well, you shouldn't ask him that question. Why is that, Chris?
Is it Russia or Ukraine now?
He's no Mike.
What's he talking about now?
But then the other one. How about
Which is the story?
$1 billion. Get rid of the prosecutor. Otherwise, you don't get the $1 billion from the United States.
That's been debunked.
But that's turning out to be peanuts compared to what we're finding now. Now he wants $10 million from China to make an introduction. Would anybody here take $10 million to introduce somebody to your father?
Yeah,
I'd do it, Dad. I'd do it for $10 million.
They would, wouldn't they?
I would do it, Pop, and he'd want me to do it. 10 million, Dad, please. Ah, I had a great father. I'm not just running against Biden and that corrupt family. I'm running against the left-wing corrupt media, and we're running against big tech.
Everybody's the enemy. CNN sucks. Oh my God. What is happening to the country?
This is a hell of a big crowd, man. Look at that. That goes all the way back.
It's a Corona crowd.
But, you know, the media, they never show it. You ever notice? You go home, they show me and about 3 people behind me. People left, right. 4 stars. They end up 3 plus 1. Thank you, Ray.
Wow. Feeding the ego that could burst if it got any bigger.
You know, it's very interesting. I love that, but no politician, I believe, has ever heard that chant. Really. We love
Because it's a cult.
somebody.
Yeah, it's a
think of
cult.
it. Reagan, I love Reagan. He was a wonderful guy. You never heard the chant, we love Reagan. You never heard that. This started a few weeks ago. And it's amazing. And I appreciate it very much. I do. I appreciate it.
Okay.
And I love this state. I love Georgia. You know, when you had the hurricane overdrive where it came in and wiped out a lot of your area, David Perdue is a fantastic guy who may be here someplace. But David Perdue called me. He said, you got to do me a favor. You got to help us with our farmers. And we gave them a hell of a lot of money. We helped. They got wiped out by a hurricane. You know, you don't hit too many hurricanes, right? But this was a big monster.
Anybody need a mercy ban?
A lot of different areas hit Alabama. We took care of Alabama. We took care of Georgia. We took care of Georgia. Took care of our farmers. I'll never forget, I came here and I stood, and I was with 32 farmers. All of them got hit hard. And one of them said, sir, I was a week away from having the best crop I've ever had, and it got ripped apart, just ripped apart. It wasn't his fault, and we took care of him. We took care of all of them, okay? And it made me feel good. It made me feel good. Great people. And they never asked for anything. They just want a level playing field. That's all they ever wanted. And I raised, by the way, $28 billion. Thank you, China, because they targeted our farmers. $12 billion, and then the next year, $16 billion. Frankly, you did better without even working, if you want to know the truth. Came from China, and we did a hell of a job, and those farmers are all happy today, but they were targeted by China. We got $28 billion in tariffs, and we gave it to your farmers, and everybody's doing just fine today, right?
Everybody's great. I mean, okay, 220,000 died, but...
But the radical left is doing everything in their power to protect their chosen candidate who has no clue where he is. He's gone. They've nothing but disdain for you and for your values and the values of Georgia. I know Georgia very well. They flood your communities with criminal aliens, with drugs, crime, while leaving behind. And you see what they do. They live in gated communities, but they flood you out. They complain about guns and they complain about everything. And then they want to end your Second
Hasn't Trump lived in
Amendment,
gated communities his whole life?
Themselves. They oppose school choice while sending their families to the best private schools. We need school choice, by the way.
People whose kids mostly go to public school cheering for ideas that would make the public schools worse.
Beautiful. So beautiful. They demonize our great police and law enforcement while hiring private security for themselves. They attack the Second Amendment every single day while employing armed guards. And let me tell you, I am the only thing standing in the way of you and your Second Amendment. It's under siege. That's a big deal. They support crippling lockdowns while their jobs remain totally exempt. It's time we sent a message to these wealthy liberal hypocrites. I could have every one of them. By the way, I mean, just like I said before, I know these guys, I can call them all. Hey, do me a favor. Irving, send me $5 million. Okay, I'll do it. Donald, I'll do it if you want it.
$5 million for what?
Oh, man, I got to do it. Do you mind if I take 1 week and just do it? I will set the all-time record on fundraising. Man, would I be good at that. It's so easy. I wouldn't have to explain a thing. But they come from Washington. They come from New York.
This is a deeply ill man.
Valley. And by the way, those Silicon Valley guys are sort of getting caught, aren't they, huh? Section 230, I'm sure most of you don't know what that means. Section 230. These guys, they're given powers, they're given rights by Washington, and then they claim free speech, right? They claim, but they're giving an exemption.
And what's your health care policy again?
And they can't abuse that power. And there's a lot of things going on right now, and a lot of your people are looking. We have some of those people here, your great congressmen, senators, and we'll be introducing them in a second, but they're looking very hard at Section 230. On Election Day, you can send a message that the fake news media right there, boy, there are a lot of them. Look at that. It looks like the Academy Awards. It's a lot of people. There are are a lot of people. Look at those cameras. They're all running with those red lights. But every time I mention their name, those red lights go off. You know,
That's
the red
never
lights,
true.
That means you're live. And then they start talking about it. They say, get the light off. Wait, turn it off. Go to a break. Let's go to a break right now.
Imagine believing that.
Fake news CNN, they don't know what. They are so fake. They really are. They're just disgusting. NBC is no better. Did you get to see last
So
night?
keeping an eye on the masks coming off, the nose of this guy is now exposed. This woman has gone maskless. Throughout the event, you see the masks come off.
But I want to tell you that she's like disappeared. Everybody thought it was so inappropriate. Here they give this guy softballs. Did you see a week ago Lester Holt?
Softballs.
Lester Holt, another genius. Lester Holt. Here's Mr. Vice President, sir. What did you have for dinner, sir? Was it good? And in Savannah, it was like her face, the anger, the craziness. I mean, the craziness last night. And I said goodbye. I said, great job, Savannah. You did wonderfully. Good job. But we got very high marks for that last night. I thought it was very unfair.
High marks. Ratings were better for Biden. Hilarious.
That Sleepy Joe who cannot answer a question. He really can't answer a question. Well, Chris Wallace protected him with me. I talked about the Moscow $3.5 million payment. I talked about the $1 billion. Chris Wallace wouldn't let he said, no, that's not appropriate. Why? I mean, the guy's allowed to take $3.5 million bucks, so we're not allowed to talk to him about it?
Doc.
I'm telling you, that Biden family, and others, but that Biden family is corrupt. It's a corrupt family. And with me and my kids, let me tell you.
I have to mute for this one. Trump was asked yesterday, did you get tested on the day of the debate, at which we now suspect you had coronavirus on the stage? And Trump said, I don't know, maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. And he thinks he came off looking good last night.
Can you imagine if my kids did what this guy Hunter is doing? Ivanka. Oh, my beautiful, my wonderful Ivanka. She's a good kid. Can you imagine?
Not the dating Ivanka stuff again.
And you know, she's much smarter, much sharper. She could, if she wanted to. How could she do well? And Don and Eric and Tiffany, they're good kids. But you know, we don't do things. It's like, boy, they'd make a fortune. Just think of it. And when you look at what they get away with, and by the way, Biden's brother, try that one. I won't go too deep in the family. I'm not looking to insult everybody. But honestly, in my opinion, it's a criminal enterprise.
Trump's not looking to insult people. Could have fooled me.
He's like a vacuum cleaner. The father goes through and the son comes in a vacuum cleaner, millions of dollars pouring in. And take a look at the way they live. 47 years he's a politician. He lives very well. Almost as well as Maxine Waters. You ever see her house? Maxine Waters, what a beautiful house she lives in. I wonder how that happened. On election day, you can send a message that the fake
It's a weird line of
news
attack.
media can't get away with it any longer. We can't let them get away with it any longer. And these big tech companies, you know, it's funny because I've heard about the big tech companies. I didn't care too much. And I heard the power was unbelievable. And it's like 99% for the other side. And I kept hearing about big tech, the power. And I ran. I kept hearing it, you know, what the hell. In one ear, out the other. But I kept hearing, and we won. So I kept hearing after that, we won. And I said, well, wait a minute. If they're so powerful, how come we won, right? They were 100% against us. But now it's gotten worse and worse. And now they've gone crazy. How about our magnificent Kaylee, right? So Kaylee...
Maybe the most dishonest press secretary in history.
But they suspended her account because she posted an article from the New York Post, which is one of the largest papers in the country, which, by the way, I want to thank them. The one paper, they've really got guts. They're printing this stuff. They got to be making a fortune as much as they can make in that industry nowadays. But, you know, when you look at the failing New York Times and the Washington Post, they don't want to write about it. This is the biggest political scandal. No,
it's a likely fake story.
The biggest political scandal. The biggest political scandal, we caught them. That's when they spied on our campaign.
I wish he would list the crimes. List the crimes Obama committed, please.
This is the second biggest political scandal. These are a bunch of bad people. And you think it's fun doing what I do, right? No, I had a great life, I want to tell you. I was doing well. I was having a lot of fun. But you know what? I would never give up what we've achieved. Think of what we've achieved. The other stuff.
I wish he would give it up, honestly.
I mean, honestly, there are a lot of successful people. There are a lot of people that are successful. Got a lot of them right here. A lot of successful people. But nobody in first 3.5 years, first 3.5 years, nobody has achieved in the history of our country what we've achieved with our military, with our tax cuts, with our regulation cuts, with all of the things.
I wish someone would say, what have you achieved with the military? He'd say, oh, we just bought us a bunch of planes and stuff. Bullets.
Things like Right to Try, things like Space Force. Thank you very much. You know, I always get them. I said, turn the cameras, turn the cameras. So we just left Florida. We had a crowd that was like this. It was massive. It went on forever. I
Massive.
said, turn the cameras, show the crowd.
Corona
They
crowd.
don't realize it's actually good for them because it's exciting. It's like being at a Florida State, Florida, Ohio State, if you want to say. It's a massive football game.
What is he
before
talking
we had to socially
about?
distance, we have all these empty seats, right? You'll be back very soon. You'll be back very soon. But. And then, of course, Georgia. Not bad. You're doing okay. But. And who's the greatest of them all from Georgia? Who's the greatest of them all from Georgia? Herschel. By the way, how good was Herschel Walker, right? He made a lot of quarterbacks look good. Here, Herschel running, boom, 6 yards, 9 yards, 10 yards, 100 yards. And he's on our side, and he's an incredible guy, Herschel Walker. I remember when he was playing here,
All right.
they had like the ballad to Herschel Walker. He was like just a legendary guy, remember? From the time he started, just boom, 6 yards, 8 yards, 10 yards. And then the quarterback goes, he says, I think I'm going to sign with the NFL. It's like amazing. But Herschel's been great. And Herschel.
What the hell is he talking about?
And the fact that we have his endorsement so strongly. I mean, so strongly. We love it. But what a great football player he was. What a great winner. We want to thank Herschel. The ballad to Herschel Walker. On November 3rd, show the people.
Is he saying
Great
ballot
American
or
people.
ballad?
That we're in charge, that we're delivering Sleepy Joe Biden and that whole group of radical left crazies. And by the way, he's not really radical left, but he's got no choice. He's got absolutely nothing going.
We know he's not radical left, yeah.
How about Kamala?
Oh my God.
How
Still
good
can't
did
say
Mike
it.
Pence do? So how good did Mike Pence do a week ago against Kamala? That was easy. That was easy. Mike is great. He's doing a great job. And he really did. He did a great job.
Where is Mike?
But it's very unfair. You know, it's so unfair. When you watch, okay, you watched last night, and you see the anger and the hatred. I'm saying, well, look, let's just do this thing. Just take it easy. Relax. Just relax. Take it nice and easy, okay? Okay. She said, but I told you that's true. I said, I don't believe you. Why would I believe you? You know? You see that? Where she's screaming. I said, well, who told me? I told you. I said, who cares if you told me? What are you telling me? But we got very high marks. But compare that.
Crystal clear.
Imagine if Joe Biden was treated like Savannah Guthrie treated us. Not me. It's us. Could you imagine? He would be freaked out. He would probably be under the table. He would be under the table. And she's easy compared to President Xi and Putin and Kim Jong-un and plenty of others. She's like easy pickings. But could you imagine if she came at him? Did you see? Now,
This
I
is
was
sad in a
interviewed
way.
A couple of weeks by George Stephanopoulos, and it was a tough interview, but it was fine. I don't say like, give me the answers of the questions. Do you ever see where they ask him a question and then he starts reading the answer? That means he has the answers to. I never saw anything like what's going on in my entire life. They ask, how about, did you see that a week ago where it said, move it up a little closer, I can't read the damn answer.
That's been debunked already. I mean, this is just crazy.
I am so proud of the fact.
Yeah, the sad thing is it means that 60 million people will vote for this insanity. That's the real sad thing. And they'll still live here even if he loses.
Look at all that equipment. That's millions of dollars worth of equipment. And you know what? If they were truthful, our country would come together so fast. It's really true. They're a big part of the problem. I was saying today, I was telling, when I was in Florida, I was telling the story that, our people, we're going to bring it all together. And they said, how are you going to do it? Through success. Because we were ready. We had the most successful economy we've ever had. We never had an economy. African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, women, people with high school diplomas, people without high school diplomas, people from MIT, top of their class, geniuses, physicists, chemical engineers.
Whoa.
Everybody's
sorry, guys.
doing better than they've ever done.
A lot going on here.
And then we
Drop
had
my mouse.
the plague sent to us by China. We're not going to forget that. We're not going to forget that. We're not going to forget it, and they know we're not going to forget it. They know it damn well that we're not going to forget it. And now we closed it down. We saved millions of lives. They don't say that, We're at over 200,000. That's terrible. But compared to other nations, it's amazing what we've been able.
Eighth highest per capita death rate, eighth highest per capita case rate.
Lives, right? And we saved millions of lives, and now we're rebuilding it back, and our economy is setting records. What we're doing is setting records. But if I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, is because I'm not a politician.
Politician? That's weird.
And if I don't always play by the rules of the Washington establishment, and it would make, it would make my life a lot easier, to be honest. I know how to play those rules. Remember they used to say, and I used to play the game about acting presidential. I'm a smart guy. We're a lot of smart people here. I'm smart. And I always said it's much easier to be presidential than to do what I do. Right? Remember? And I said, I'm more presidential if I wanted to be, but I got to get things done. I don't have enough time. There's so many stupid things that happen with bad deals, stupid deals, bad trade deals. But do you remember I used to go, and it would have fun, but I'd used to go and I'd imitate a president who's playing presidential. That's so easy compared to what we do. What we do is much more difficult. I said, I can be more presidential than any president in our history, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln when he wore the hat.
Have I missed the policy part of the speech?
That was stuff to think. But you remember I'd do it. We had fun with it. We'd say, ladies and gentlemen of Georgia, this is your president, and it is a great honor to be with you tonight. Things are going very well with our country. Our military is building. And, so I could do that, and, within about 3 minutes, everybody would pick up and they'd say, let's get the hell out of here. This guy's... No, we're doing a great job. We're renegotiating these horrible trade deals. We're bringing our people back home.
Verbal ink blot test. All over.
Because I was elected to fight for you, and I fight harder for you than any president has ever fought for the people of this country.
What's going on here?
Thank you very much. Thank you. By the way, I have to tell you, the spirit in this country is unbelievable. The spirit in these rallies are unbelievable. And hey, we were in Minnesota. We're going to win Minnesota. Minnesota, I think, hasn't been won since 1972. We're going to win.
You'll notice, excuse the mute, but this is important. We now have 3 unmasked women here. It does sort of seem to spread by contagion. We now have 3 women who have removed their masks, all next to each other, and we're seeing more and more noses pop up. It's bizarre how it spreads at these things.
I gave it back to the people of Maine. We're doing things that nobody's ever thought about doing, ever done. We went into, you take a look at Minneapolis. The place was burning down. The National Guard goes in. 30 minutes, would you say? Remember, they formed that beautiful scene. After watching this for a week and a half, and we want to do it with Portland. Portland would be so easy. Wise guys, they're just wise guys. These are wise guys in there. You know, you had the one guy who killed somebody in the street. Took him 3 days to arrest. I sent in the U.S. Marshals, you know. 15 minutes later, it was over. I said, why hasn't that guy been, they all knew who, they were putting his picture up. I said, why hasn't he been arrested? Well, sir, they haven't. I said, really? You got another day? We sent in the U.S. Marshals. In 15 minutes, we have the greatest law enforcement people in the world. 15 minutes later, it was all over for him. But the forces opposing me in Washington are the same people who are responsible for every disastrous trade deal, foreign policy blunder, and border security betrayal.
Thanks, Oliver. Well said.
Look at our border. Our southern border is so great. By the way, we've topped 400 miles of wall.
I'm much more horrified by 220,000 deaths. He keeps talking about 400 miles of wall.
We'll be finished very soon. But it's had an incredible impact. Our border has never been as good. We got rid of catch and release, all the stuff that everybody said would be impossible, but it's been incredible. And Mexico is paying for the wall. You do know.
They're not. I don't know if you guys have
like to
noticed, but
say,
for months he's been
now
saying we're
finally
at
they say, okay, he's
390
believable.
miles.
But Mexico's
Now
not
he
big.
says 400, but we're building 10 a week. The numbers don't add up.
They know that, but they don't like to say it. No, we're doing some incredible things. This is the most important election in the history of our country. And I used to, even 2-3 months ago, say, well, you know, this is like very important, but 2016 was important. This is more important. This is more.
That's
and,
true.
Know, success will bring us together, as I was saying, but you know what else is going to bring us together? A victory, because they're just going to finally say, let's just give up. They're going to say,
Beat them into
these
submission.
people can't be beaten. They're going to say, these people can't be beaten. And many of them were so happy. 2 weeks ago, they heard Trump tested positive. They were so happy. And then I got out, like right away, here I am, like a long time. I could have
What an insane speech.
That's right. They say, can you imagine he won't be able to hold any more rallies? He'll be recovering or worse. Or worse. He'll be recovering or worse. And like 12 minutes later, here we are, you know. Like, don't forget, I've been doing this for a long time already. This is not my first rally, right? But all these rallies are like this. The spirit of this country is unbelievable. And that's what we have. And even the fake news admits we have more enthusiasm than any candidate in the history of this country. True. And he has less enthusiasm, in my opinion, than any candidate. I think he's the weakest candidate in the history of presidential politics. I really
We will
now,
see.
With all of that being said, they have a corrupt media, they have big tech, they have all of this stuff. It's a very powerful party. And they have advantages. You know, they automatically win New York. I don't know why New York is doing so badly.
Because people
They
vote.
automatically win California. I don't know why California is doing so badly. The forest fires, no water, no this, no that. You know, minor little problems. They automatically win Illinois. I mean, we got to run the table. It's automatic because it's just the way it falls. You know, winning the Electoral College is a very, very
Sort of like
hard thing
Trump
to do.
automatically wins Louisiana, Mississippi, North Dakota, South Dakota. I mean, what is he talking about?
But we're winning in Florida. We're winning here. You know, it's amazing. Like, if he came here, Sleepy Joe, if he came here, honestly, if they announced, they'd work really hard to try and find people. No, I really mean this. We have tens of thousands. Look at this. This thing goes back, way, way back. I wish they wouldn't give these guys a good look. I wish they'd move them back 100.
Again with the tens of thousands.
And I'm telling my people, I'll save a little time. My people, please, from now on, could you please move the fake news media back like another 100 yards?
Nothing more in line with Western democracy than perpetually attacking the media.
Because you know what? Those cameras, they have magnifiers on. They can be back, and you can get a lot of people. So instead of standing behind the camera and looking at the cameraman's ass, we don't need that. Okay? Just move them back, and we get more people up here because it goes back forever. Thank you back there. We love you. Thank you. But we're going to move it back. Move them back. Move. This can only happen in Georgia. You know, I have an idea. You just gave me an idea. We'll have a new T-shirt tomorrow morning. Move them back. Right? Move them back. Well, we did it with this crazy Hunter Biden. Remember? Where's Hunter? I kept saying, where the hell is Hunter? Because he was gone. You know, they caught him stealing a lot of money. So he disappeared, remember? And
wait, now he's saying Hunter stole the money?
That's a great idea for a T-shirt. We came out with a T-shirt, Where's Hunter? It became one of the big successes of the year.
Trump's a T-shirt salesman, basically.
We were talking today about drug prices, and you know, in this country, we have a very bad system, and we have middlemen that are very rich. And I was talking about how we're cutting out the middlemen. Oh, these are not people that like me very much.
He was Targan about it.
Nations and all that stuff. We're getting your drug prices down 60, 70, 80%. But the middlemen are making all of this money, tremendous. They're very wealthy. They don't even do anything. Frankly, at least the drug companies, they make the drug. So we're talking about the middlemen. And I say, wait a minute, I think I know one of the middlemen. It must be Hunter. Hunter Biden is a middleman. On top of everything else, China, Ukraine, Russia, plus he's a middleman. What a family. Biden's made a corrupt bargain in exchange, and that's what he's done. It's a corrupt bargain in exchange for his party's nomination.
Back on the prompter.
Should have gone to Bernie. You know, Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, if she would have left a day before Super Tuesday, Joe Biden would not have won any of those states.
So this guy now has fully removed his mask, as you can see. We got another nose out down here. It just progresses during the rally.
Sanders is the nicest, greatest loser I've ever seen because, no, it's true. And I mean this, and you know, we're going to get a lot of their votes because they love us on trade. Because the one thing Bernie's right on is every country in this world, including our so-called allies. Excuse me, are there any children in the house? Okay, close your ears, children. Screws us on trade. And Bernie's people
Screws
know
us.
that, and Bernie's into it. The problem is Bernie wouldn't be able to do anything about it. I've done a lot about it. But you know, that's why we got a big percentage of Bernie people. And because they didn't like Hillary, but they don't like Joe. And we're going to get a lot of Bernie people, so I have to be nice to Bernie. But I consider him a really good loser because he loses with he's so nice about it. He loses. I mean, what she did to him was bad, but this was in a way worse because all Elizabeth Warren had to do is leave the campaign, didn't even have to endorse him, and he would have gotten votes, and he would have won every single state on Super Tuesday. And that didn't happen. And so now we have a guy with a little bit larger base, but no energy. Here we would have had somebody with a smaller base, but with tremendous energy, but not as much energy as we do, and we have a big base, so I like that either.
Crystal clear. No, that makes a lot of sense. I know exactly what point he's making.
A long, complex story, but what the hell? I
It was complex.
Time, right? What the hell?
Good awareness to notice it.
In exchange for his party's nomination, he's handed control, and you know that, in exchange to the socialists and the Marxists and the far left.
Name them.
If he wins, the radical left will be running this country. They're addicted to power, and God help our country if that happens. I really mean it. You'll never make a comeback. It'll be a large-scale version of Venezuela.
Trump will be fine. You'll be screwed.
I never meant it like I mean it now. The only difference is the size, because the ideology is the same. Venezuela 20 years ago, less, was so wealthy, one of the wealthiest countries. It had oil, it had everything, very, very magnificent. Now they don't have water, they don't have medicine, they don't have food. Everyone's fleeing the country. You know, the only difference is the size, but the ideology. When you look at a Portland, I want them to let us in. I said, Governor of Oregon, I said, let us come in. I want to solve your problem. But they're radical left Democrats. You know, it's just like the craziest thing. But that's what Venezuela is. They're anarchists. You look at some of these cities, they're anarchists, and they don't.
Biden's campaign has nothing in common with Venezuela.
And we originally had a hard time. We had a hard time. They didn't want us to have any rallies in certain states. And then I realized you're not allowed to go to church. You're not allowed to have dinner with people. You're not allowed to do anything unless in Michigan you happen to be married to the governor because her husband. You're not allowed to go sailing unless you're married to the governor of Michigan, in which case you can go sailing. Remember that? Did she get caught or what? Now she's blaming me because people were whatever. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I wasn't. And it was our people that caught them.
Trump wasn't involved in the plot to
Trump's
kidnap
fault.
her.
Always
Okay,
Trump's
that's good.
fault.
Good to know.
Incredible. And yet we did her a favor. Who knows? I mean, they have to look at that whole thing too. But we are doing an incredible job in this country. This country is great. And we have spirit like nobody's had spirit. And there's going to be a red wave next week that's going to be unbelievable. And they're talking about it. Look at that. That's millions of dollars worth of equipment. And they'll never turn it around to show those people back there because they want to say. Donald Trump had a rally in Georgia. There was a smattering of people, a small smattering. No, it's amazing. Nobody's ever had what we've had.
This guy's
You can have
nose
a
out
red
now.
wave. They
It's
call it a red
continuing.
wave. One of these characters standing right there, he said, there could be a red wave. Don't say there could be. There will be. It's going to be a wave. And they don't want to go the phony, unsolicited ballot. You know, they send ballots out by the millions. They don't have no idea. Well, they do actually have an idea where they're going. That's what really. But we say, who's sending them? Where are they going? Who's getting them? Who's delivering them? Who's signing them? What the hell are they doing? And then if you say that, they go, he's not for freedom. He's not for freedom. And they know better than you do. It's a big con job. So we have to be very, very careful with the ballots because
It's
they
hard to
find
even
ballots
take this remotely
in a garbage
seriously. I mean,
can.
obviously I don't, but
Military ballots.
it's hard to imagine anyone taking it
They're in a
seriously.
garbage can.
60 million will vote for it, though.
50,000 ballots from Ohio. They find them from North Carolina, dumped in a river. They find them, I think, 500,000 ballots in Virginia. They were incorrect. They're printing them wrong. They had one little problem on one set of ballots, thousands and thousands. They forgot to put the name of Donald Trump on the ballot. Other than that, the ballot was quite good, okay? No, this is serious. And
Great
I'm being
ballot.
serious about this. These people are doing a tremendous disservice, and they're using COVID as the reason. You know, they're using this as a reason not to go out and vote. So we voted in World War I, where, by the way, you had a pandemic that made this look like peanuts, okay?
Oh, God, here we go.
World War I. They voted in World War I. They voted in World War II. They voted during the Great Depression. They voted. But we can't do that. You got to send in a ballot. So complicated, too. They have instructions. You do the ballot, then you do this. But some of them make it nice and simple. You don't have to sign. You don't have to verify. But what they don't tell you is we've won a lot of court cases. How about you put your ballot in, and it has to be in by November 3rd. But you have 2 weeks in which to, so wait a minute, you have 2 weeks to count them. Does that mean we have to hold up the whole election? Because you know what? I want to find out who won or lost. I want to find out.
It's getting
legitimately
awkward,
who won or
yeah.
lost on November 3rd. I'm not looking to find out. I'm not looking to find out on November 19th or on December 1st or on 2 years from now. And if you take a look at some of these ballot schemes, in New York, we had a third-rate politician named Carolyn Maloney, who I know very well. She used to come to my office all the time for campaign contributions. But she won a race. the number of ballots missing, they have no idea. Her opponent, who could have won, it was very close, but they declared her the winner. But her opponent has gone totally nuts. And you know what? He should.
Another mask has come off here. This woman crying, or gentleman, I'm not sure. This person is crying, apparently, wiping their eyes, mask off.
And they'll say, even, I must say, even in 18, they had a lot of disasters. And even in 16, I didn't even know it, but they had a lot of ballots. I promise you, it will be against us, okay? It will be against us.
It looks like this woman's really messing with the mask a lot. I think this one's coming off
we have a
soon.
good chance to win Nevada, but they're sending ballots to everybody. The governor was a backroom politician, and I don't want him having the fate of an election. I don't think it's right that he has the fate of our most important election ever in his hands. I don't want that. So if you see anything wrong, law enforcement's watching, marshals or U.S. Marshals are watching, same type of guys. These are no games people. One thing I would say, law enforcement, they're on our side. And I said it.
Maybe he shouldn't speak for them.
I said it during the debate with Joe. I said, Joe, name one law enforcement group that's supporting you. He couldn't do it. Then he was bailed out by Chris Wallace, right? I said, name one law enforcement. Then I said, here, Joe, just say the words law and order. Say those words, Joe. He didn't want to say it. I said, Joe, just say the words law and order.
Of course, Biden did say it. He said law and order and justice.
He couldn't say it. He wouldn't say it. Then he tried. I think he said law and order and safety and security, you know, because he has to get the vote of the radical left, and they don't like law and order. And you know who likes Trump because of law and order? The suburban women.
Uh-oh.
I keep hearing, because they want law and order. And I got, oh, look at that. Thank you. Same thing happened 4 years ago. Same thing. They said, women will not vote for Trump. Women will not. Then the election's over. They said, man, the women really came out and voted for Trump, right? But suburban women. They keep saying suburban women. And I got rid of a regulation that would have destroyed the value of your homes.
Oh, no.
And would have made your homes very unsafe with low-income housing.
Every time he talks about this, the regulation does something totally different.
Terminated it. And even my people, they said, sir, you don't have to terminate. We can make it much weaker. I said, no, you don't understand. I want it terminated, and I terminated it. Suburban women, please. Thank you very much.
All right. Sir.
No, I heard they like my policy, but they don't like my personality. I said, they don't care about my personality. They want to be safe, and they want to keep their American dream. They don't care about my personality, which I think is okay. They like my personality.
The mask works really less as an earring.
I like them. I love them.
See.
The radical left is hell-bent on destroying everything that we love. And you know, it's that culture stuff, right? Cancel culture. They want cancel culture. They want to get rid of our great heroes from the past. They want to get rid of our history. They want to get rid of our culture, right? I was at Mount Rushmore. They want to blow Mount Rushmore up. I said to our great governor of South Dakota, Christy, I said, Christy, it's never happening. Christy, don't worry about it. She said, you don't have to, we don't even need your help on this one. It was so beautiful, Mount Rushmore. They want to blow it up. I said, not going to happen. None of that stuff is going to happen. But I will tell you, a few months ago, if I weren't your president, you would have had the Jefferson Memorial, the Lincoln Memorial. How about Lincoln? They want to attack even Lincoln. He's probably looking down and he's saying, what the hell did I do? I was on their side, I think, right? What did I do? They want to attack the Lincoln. If I wasn't your president, they would have attacked the Jefferson Memorial. And I stopped it. I stopped a lot of things. I also saved your Second Amendment, by the way.
Saved it. We wouldn't even have it.
They want to punish the middle class. Expunge.
Trump wants us to believe that were it not for him, an amendment undoing the Second Amendment could have been passed when most governors are Republicans. How exactly would that happen?
Contempt for the United States. And I don't think Biden does, but Biden has no power. He's gone. He's gone. Up here, he's gone. The Republican Party is proud of America. We're proud of America. We love America. We celebrate American values, American history, and American culture, and we're working to deliver a truly extraordinary American future. But I want the Republican Party to get tougher, because the Republican Party, they're very good people, but they're not tough enough in terms of our values and what we stand for. They let these other people, these lunatics, get away with things like you can't spy on a campaign, you can't try and take over a duly elected president of the United States and get caught. And when you get caught, you have to suffer the consequences. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Joe Biden and the Democrat socialists will kill your jobs, dismantle your police departments, and you see that going all over with Seattle and all. And by the way, Seattle, so they knew we were going in the following day. So the night before, they raised their hands and they left. Okay, very simple. I said, that's it. Whether they like us in there or not, we're going in. They took over a big piece of the city. And they weren't going to do anything. They knew we were going in.
Go on.
And so the night before, they said, you know, these are little facts that I give you just to give you, because that's the way it works. They're supposed to ask us, the governors are supposed to ask us. But these radical left, you know, if you look at Republican-run states and cities, they're doing phenomenally well. Never done better. But if you look at these radical left, look at what happened to my beautiful New York. Since I left, 3.5 years, it was doing great, and I left. I'm not saying because, but
I'd love for him to talk about
I
COVID-19.
came to Washington. What's happened to New York, what they've done to that incredible city and state is so sad. Look at Chicago. Look at what's going on there. Look at what's going on. Atlanta. Look at Atlanta. It's so sad what's going on. And these are radical left, no bail, no cash bail, no nothing. I mean, you kill somebody, no problem, no problem. They're going to have to get their act together. They're going to have to get their act together, because we're not going to put up with it much longer. They want to dissolve your borders, release criminal aliens, raise your taxes. And by the way, I'm cutting your taxes big. Biden, this guy. No, Biden wants to substantially raise your taxes. And then he says, well, I'm only talking about people. I said, no. He wants to terminate the tax cuts that we gave you. So that's $2,000. And then you look at the energy cuts and you look at the child tax credit.
So we did an analysis this week, feels like last week, of the tax plan. And obviously all of these are lies. It's impossible to refute everything one by one.
Terminate it. That means that's $9,000. Well, I don't know about that. You know, then he pulls out a piece of paper and he starts reading it out of his... Did you see that? He did that yesterday. He pulled out a piece of paper because he couldn't remember any of the numbers. He pulls out... And George Stephanopoulos is sitting there watching this. He didn't treat me as nice, you know, so I did him 2 weeks ago, too. And
he did him.
It was fine. You know, it is what it is, right? He's going to ask me a question, right? You know the expression? He asks you a question, I give him an answer. That's all you can do, right? You can't do any better than that. But they were nasty, you know, pretty nasty. And not terrible, but pretty
nasty.
She was out of line, I mean, in my opinion. She was out of line.
How dare Savannah Guthrie call Trump out for his obvious lies?
But when you watch the one the week before, it's just so, it's such a difference. The beauty is the people of our country get it. They're smart. They get it. They get it.
60 million voted for you, dude. How smart could they be?
NBC owned by Comcast, C-O-N. I'd call it Comcast. You know, it used to be Com. They spend a fortune on public relations, and I come along and call them Comcast all the time. It's a con job. They want to confiscate your guns, drive God from the public square, and abolish the suburbs. That's what they want to do.
And the suburbs. Everything will be cities.
To defend our Constitution from this badness, I proudly nominated Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the United States Supreme Court.
Imagine cheering for that. Amy COVID Barrett.
She's great. She's so smart. She's so smart, right? She's done a great job. She's done a great job. And she went through it, no problem. And they came at her. It was like your Atlanta team when they were good a couple of years ago. How the hell did they lose that Super Bowl? Could you? How the hell did that happen? I keep thinking, man, if you owned that team or you worked for that team, that was a long shot. But you know, it's one of those things. But that was like that team playing a high school football team, right? She was so much more talented than those people that were trying to embarrass her, and she was cool as hell. The coolest was, do you have notes? Do you have notes? What? A blank. No.
Yeah. If
Just
you
need to
don't
write
plan
down
to
notes.
answer any questions, you don't really need notes.
And most of this has been off this teleprompter, because if it was on the teleprompter, many of you would say, this is a little boring. Let's get out of here, Sam. Last night, Biden refused to rule out court packing. In other words, they may take 16, 17, 18 people. He'll pack the court with radical left judges who will shred your Second Amendment, disarm law-abiding citizens, and protect terrorists
That guy's headed
and
out.
violent criminals. You know, I won the ban from jihadist countries or other countries. If people are bad, we don't want them in. So I went for the ban. Everybody said, but I won. I won in the Supreme Court. And you know what? We don't want people that can't love our country. We don't
Right.
want people that are going to hurt our country. So I have a ban, very controversial. And we won at the United States Supreme Court. And we don't let people in from certain countries that are going to look to do bad things to us. Pretty amazing what's happened, isn't it? Biden's agenda would also be a catastrophe for Georgia seniors. Seniors.
That's not
Do we have
true.
any seniors in the House? Right?
The guy without the mask raised his hand. Can you
For
imagine,
years,
guys?
Biden tried to cut your
Maskless,
Social Security.
wholly
you know that, and
maskless
your
guy
Medicare.
raised his hand as a
Now
senior.
Biden is pledging mass amnesty and free health care for illegal aliens, decimating Medicare, and destroying your Social Security, because that's what's going to happen. You know, we all have a heart. I say this all the time. I mean,
Yeah, Biden has no plan whatsoever to destroy Social Security. So I think, guys, we've gotten a sense of what Donald Trump is offering here tonight. It's essentially the same message, a little bit less orange, and a little bit more unhinged. So that is going to end my coverage of this event. I would advise you, for health and safety reasons, not to go watch it anywhere else. I think you've probably had all you can health-wise at this point. But if you must, you can continue elsewhere. I will be back at some point with another stream. I appreciate everybody joining me to the extent that you did. And I will see you very, very soon.